Aisha had always known the streets as her home. She wandered through narrow lanes, dodging puddles of dirty water and weaving past crowded markets filled with shouting vendors and the smell of fried food. Every day was a struggle, every moment a challenge. Yet she moved with a quiet determination that came from years of surviving on her own. Her clothes were worn and patched, her shoes had holes, and her hands were rough from carrying heavy baskets and selling small trinkets to anyone who passed. But she never complained, she never gave up. Life had not been kind to Aisha. She had lost her parents when she was very young, and her older brother had disappeared in the city years ago, leaving her completely alone. Every day she woke up hoping for a little luck, a kind gesture, or even just a warm meal. But the city was relentless. The streets were filled with people too busy with their own lives to notice a small girl trying to survive. Still, Aisha had learned to navigate this world with sharp eyes and quick feet, knowing where to find food, where to sleep safely, and which alleyways to avoid. On this particular evening, the sky was heavy with dark clouds, promising rain. Aisha clutched her small bundle of goods tightly, weaving through the bustling streets with the practiced ease of someone who had walked these paths countless times. Her stomach growled, and she thought about the small piece of bread she had managed to save earlier, but she kept walking, knowing that tonight, safety was more important than hunger. As she passed a quiet park at the edge of the street, she noticed something unusual. A small crowd had gathered near the fountain, whispering and pointing. Curiosity pulled her closer. When she arrived, she saw two children, a boy and a girl, sitting on the edge of the fountain, their faces buried in their hands, tears streaming down their cheeks. Their clothes were expensive, neat and clean, far different from the tattered rags she wore. And yet, here they were, crying as if the world had abandoned them. Something in Aisha's heart stirred, a feeling she had not expected. She felt a strange pull toward them, a need to help, even though she did not know why. Most people would have ignored them, assuming they were spoiled children or that someone else would take care of them. But Aisha did not think that way. She knelt down a little distance away, watching them quietly, noticing the small tremble of the boy's hands and the girl's choked sobs. She wanted to help, but also had to be careful. The city had taught her that strangers could be dangerous. Yet, she could not walk away. The thought of leaving them alone while they cried seemed impossible. Aisha reached into her bundle and pulled out a small piece of bread, her only food for the evening. She held it out toward them, hoping it would offer some comfort. Slowly, the little girl lifted her head, her big, teary eyes meeting Aisha's. There was a moment of hesitation, then curiosity, and finally a faint smile. It was a fragile connection, but it was enough. The boy wiped his face and looked at her too, and she realized they were scared, lost, and alone, just like her. The rain began to fall lightly, creating small ripples in the fountain water, and Aisha quickly opened her small, torn umbrella to cover herself and the twins. She offered them a quiet, gentle voice. "Don't worry, it's okay. I'm here," and they listened, unsure but comforted by her presence. Aisha knew she had to do something more. She could not leave them here. The city was too cruel for children to be left alone in the dark. As the first drops of rain began to soak her hair and clothes, she held out her hand to the twins, inviting them to walk with her. Slowly, cautiously, they took her hands, trusting her instinctively, something that even she found surprising. They walked together through the streets, the noise and chaos surrounding them. But Aisha felt a sense of purpose, a new feeling she had never known before. Helping them gave her strength, it gave her hope, and it made her feel that maybe, just maybe, she could make a difference. The streets were harsh, cold, and unwelcoming, but for the first time, Aisha felt like she belonged somewhere, not just a girl surviving, but a girl who could care, who could protect, and who could change lives. As they moved through the city, the twins clinging to her, she did not know what would happen next. She did not know who they were or how their story would unfold. But she knew that tonight was the beginning of something different, something important, something that could change everything. And in that moment, under the darkening sky and the first drops of rain, Aisha realized that the streets, her home, were no longer just a place of survival. They were a place of possibility, a place where even a small girl with nothing could step into the lives of others and make a difference. She tightened her grip on the twins' hands, ready for whatever lay ahead. And for the first time, she smiled, a smile full of courage, hope, and determination. The twins, Ayan and Alina, had never known fear like this before. Their luxurious home had always been a safe bubble, guarded by servants and security. Yet here they were alone in the streets, their small hands trembling as they clung to Aisha's rough, warm fingers. The contrast between her life and theirs was stark. Her clothes torn, her hair messy, and yet she moved with a calm confidence they could not understand. Their sobs had slowed, curiosity mixing with relief, as if this stranger might actually protect them. Aisha led them through narrow lanes, avoiding busy intersections where cars honked and people pushed past. She spoke softly. "Don't be afraid. I know a safe place we can wait until someone finds you." And the twins listened, their eyes wide but trusting. She knew the city could be cruel, but she had learned its rhythms, the hidden corners where danger was less likely. And tonight, she used every lesson she had learned to keep them safe. As they walked, Aisha noticed the small details that marked the twins' life. The fine embroidery on their coats, the polished shoes that had never touched dirt, and the small silver bracelet on Alina's wrist. These were children from wealth, comfort, and privilege. Yet here they were, crying and lost. And for a moment, Aisha felt a strange connection, a feeling she could not explain, as if fate had brought them together. Her heart swelled with empathy, and she vowed she would not let anything happen to them. They found a small, sheltered corner behind a closed shop, where the rain could not reach them, and Aisha crouched down to meet the twins at eye level. "Here, sit with me for a while. It's safe," she said gently, offering them what little warmth she could provide. They huddled close, shivering, and Aisha took off her thin scarf and wrapped it around them. The gesture was small, but it spoke volumes. A simple act of care that the twins had never experienced outside of their family. "Why are you helping us?" Alina whispered, her voice trembling. Aisha smiled faintly. "Because someone should, because it's the right thing to do." And the twins stared at her, confused but comforted. She did not know what else to say, but her actions said more than words ever could. Time passed slowly, and the twins began to calm. Ayan even managed a small laugh when Aisha pulled a stray leaf from his coat, brushing it off gently. Their fear was still there, but it was mingled now with trust and curiosity. They had never met someone like her, someone who lived in the streets, and yet seemed braver than anyone else they knew. Aisha's resourcefulness and kindness impressed them more than they could admit. Suddenly, Aisha remembered a nearby tea stall she often visited for warmth and cheap snacks. She decided to take the twins there, walking carefully through puddles and slippery stones. When they arrived, she bought 2 small buns with the few coins she had earned that day, offering them to the twins, who devoured them quickly. Their hunger satisfied, their tears slowed further, and Aisha felt a strange warmth, a mix of pride and relief. This small moment of comfort showed her that even tiny acts of care could mean the world to someone. As they sat quietly, Aisha's mind raced. She knew they could not stay here forever. The city would grow dark soon, and she did not know how long it would take for the twins' parents to find them. Yet, in this moment, she felt the bond growing stronger, a connection that went beyond wealth, status, or survival. It was trust, empathy, and human kindness, and it made her feel powerful in a way she had never experienced. The rain had slowed to a drizzle, and Aisha looked at the twins, their faces smeared with tears but softening into smiles. She realized that she had done something remarkable without even thinking. She had given them safety, comfort, and hope, and in return, they had given her something she had longed for all her life, the feeling that she mattered, that she could make a difference. And as the sun began to dip behind the tall buildings, casting long shadows over the streets, Aisha held their hands tightly, ready to face whatever came next, knowing that this night would change not only the twins' lives, but hers as well. This small act of courage, compassion, and connection was just the beginning, and the streets, which had once seemed lonely and cruel, now felt full of possibility. The evening air grew colder as Aisha guided the twins through the winding streets, their small hands clutching hers tightly. Each step they took was careful, avoiding puddles and broken stones, yet their hearts felt lighter than before. The fear in their eyes was slowly replaced with curiosity, as if they could sense that this girl, ragged and alone as she was, might be their only protector tonight. Aisha's mind raced with questions, but she pushed them aside, focusing only on keeping the twins safe. As they passed a quiet alley, she noticed shadows moving near the walls. The city at night could be unpredictable. She whispered, "Stay close to me, don't let go." And the twins obeyed instantly. Their small footsteps echoed softly against the wet pavement. But Aisha's calm presence gave them courage. She thought about what she could do next, knowing they could not stay on the streets for long. The dark corners could hide dangers she had faced many times before. Suddenly, Alina tugged at her sleeve, pointing toward a small bench beneath a dim street lamp. "Can we sit for a while?" she asked quietly. Aisha nodded, letting them rest. "Just for a moment, we'll move again soon." She watched them carefully, noticing how their eyes darted around. The twins had never been in the streets before, and every sound seemed amplified, yet their trust in her grew with each passing second. Aisha reached in her small bag and pulled out the few coins she had saved. She had seen a street vendor selling hot tea nearby. The smell of it strong and comforting, she bought 3 cups, careful to keep her eyes on the twins as she handed one to each of them. The warmth of the tea seeped into their little hands, and for the first time since they had wandered away from home, their faces relaxed. Ayan sipped cautiously, then smiled, while Alina hugged her cup close, feeling safe for a fleeting moment. Aisha knew this calm could not last long. The parents would be searching, and the city had too many eyes. She looked around, spotting a small shelter formed by the awning of closed shop. She motioned for the twins to follow, and they ran to her, shivering but determined to stay together. Under the awning, she pulled her scarf tighter around them, wrapping them in a protective cocoon. They huddled close, and Aisha whispered softly, "No one can hurt you here, I promise." The twins were silent for a moment, and then Alina spoke. "Why are you helping us? You don't even know us." Aisha smiled faintly, looking at her worn hands. "Because sometimes people have to help each other, even when it's hard," she said. "And tonight, it's my choice to keep you safe." The twins listened, their eyes wide, and something shifted, a bond forming that neither of them could name. But all 3 of them felt it deeply. As the rain stopped, Aisha realized they needed a plan. Staying on the street for long would not be safe. She scanned the area and remembered a small community center not far away, where she had occasionally sought refuge when the streets felt too cruel. It was run by kind people who had once given her food and blankets. She thought maybe they could help the twins too. With renewed determination, Aisha lifted the twins in her arms one by one, guiding them through the slippery streets. Her pace steady, she ignored the ache in her legs and the cold seeping through her shoes. All that mattered was the safety of these children. Along the way, Ayan asked quietly, "Do you live here?" Aisha nodded. "Yes, but I've learned how to survive here. It's not easy, but we'll get through this together." By the time they reached the community center, the first lights of the night glowed warmly through the windows. Aisha knocked gently, explaining the situation to the caretaker, and the twins clung to her, still frightened but safe at last. She stepped back, her heart racing, realizing she had done something extraordinary tonight, something that could change all of their lives forever. As the caretaker led the twins inside, offering blankets and hot food, Aisha watched from the doorway, a strange mix of relief and anticipation in her chest. She had protected them, guided them, and cared for them, and now she felt a spark of something new. Hope, the kind of hope she had never allowed herself to feel before. For the first time, she realized that one brave, kind action could create a ripple that might change not only the twins' lives, but hers as well. Back in the towering mansion at the heart of the city, panic had taken over. The twins' sudden disappearance had thrown the entire household into chaos. The servants ran through marble halls, their voices echoing against the grand walls, while the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Khan, searched every room, their hearts pounding with fear and worry. Their children, who had always been under constant care and protection, were suddenly gone, and the thought of anything happening to them made their stomachs churn. The security team was immediately called into action, guards scanning streets, alleyways, and nearby parks. Every exit from the mansion monitored, yet the twins were small, nimble, and had wandered farther than anyone expected, leaving no clues behind. Mr. Khan's hand shook as he spoke into his phone, issuing instructions with urgency and authority, while Mrs. Khan tried to hold back tears, the fear in her eyes a mirror of her children's own panic. Meanwhile, in the quiet streets where the twins had last been seen, Aisha guided Ayan and Alina carefully. Unaware of the storm she had unleashed, she had only wanted to keep them safe, to calm their fears and offer warmth. And yet, by doing so, she had put herself in a position that could attract attention. She glanced around, sensing the city's watchful eyes, her instincts sharp, knowing that someone wealthy would soon be searching for these children with resources far beyond her reach. Inside the mansion, the children's disappearance triggered memories, each small detail replaying in Mr. Khan's mind. The last time he saw them, the small argument over toys, the laughter in the breakfast room, and suddenly, the absence of those sounds now felt deafening. Mrs. Khan's voice trembled as she begged the guards, "Find them, please. Do not stop until they are safe." And every second that passed felt like an eternity. Back in the streets, Aisha had led the twins to a small, sheltered community center, but she did not yet know how to reach the mansion or communicate with their parents. She felt a mixture of pride and fear, knowing that someone might suspect her of wrongdoing. Even though her intentions were pure, her eyes scanned the streets nervously, wondering if the city's chaos would bring danger. Yet the twins' trust in her gave her courage, pushing her to stay calm and vigilant. At the same time, the security team's search intensified, surveillance cameras and patrolling cars moving through every possible route. The city seemed alive with tension, as if it too felt the urgency of the children's disappearance. Mr. Khan's assistant coordinated with local authorities, sending descriptions and photos, hoping that someone would spot the twins before anything bad could happen. Every passing minute felt heavier than the last, and the mansion, usually a place of comfort now, felt like a prison of worry. Inside the community center, Aisha kept the twins close, brushing their wet hair and offering quiet words of reassurance. "You're safe now. No one can hurt you here," she said. And though the twins still trembled, their sobs had quieted, they began to eat the food provided, their small hands moving shakily and slowly. The tension in their bodies eased, yet Aisha knew that their parents were searching frantically, and that soon, someone powerful might arrive. The thought of the wealthy family arriving both worried and intrigued Aisha. She had never dealt with people of such influence before. She wondered if they would understand her actions, or if they would see only a street girl meddling with their children. And yet, as she looked at Ayan and Alina, who were starting to smile faintly for the first time since the day began, she realized that no matter what happened, she had done the right thing, protecting them when no one else could. And as the night deepened, the streets outside remained tense and alert, while inside the small shelter, Aisha and the twins waited silently, hearts beating in sync with the unspoken fear and hope. Each moment felt fragile, like a thread holding together a story that could change everything, and Aisha's determination grew stronger, knowing that the next few hours could alter the course of all their lives. The night air was thick with tension as the distant sound of a luxury car approached. Aisha's heart pounded in her chest, and the twins instinctively clung to her tightly. Their small faces were still streaked with tears, but a spark of hope had returned. They sensed that someone important had arrived, someone with power, someone who could take them home. Yet Aisha's instincts warned her to remain cautious. She did not know how the wealthy parents would react to a street girl protecting their children. The car doors opened with a quiet authority, and footsteps approached the community center quickly. The caretaker looked startled as Mr. Khan and a few security guards appeared, their eyes scanning the room with urgency. The twins' cries of relief filled the air as they spotted their father. Ayan ran toward him, Alina following closely, but Aisha stayed back. Unsure of what to do, she had never faced someone so powerful before. Mr. Khan's eyes fell on Aisha, And for a moment, there was a silence, a pause filled with judgment and curiosity. He studied her carefully, noting her rough hands, her worn clothes, and the protective stance she had taken around his children. It would have been easy to scold or dismiss her, to blame her for meddling with his family. Yet something about the way she had cared for the twins struck him deeply. "Who are you?" Mr. Khan asked sharply but not harshly, his voice carrying both authority and surprise. Aisha swallowed, her throat dry, and replied quietly, I found them crying in the park, sir. I just wanted to help them." The twins nodded vigorously, their small voices chiming in, confirming her words. Their eyes sparkled with trust and gratitude, a silent plea telling their parents that this girl had been their protector. Mr. Khan looked down at Aisha, and for the first time he saw beyond her tattered clothes and street life. He saw courage, quick thinking, and a genuine heart, qualities he knew were rare. "You kept them safe?" he asked, disbelief in his voice. Aisha nodded. "Yes, sir. I did not know where else to take them. I just wanted them to be safe." And in that simple confession, there was no hesitation, no fear of judgment, only truth. Mrs. Khan stepped forward, her eyes softening as she saw her children smiling faintly despite the night's ordeal. She looked at Aisha with a mixture of relief and admiration, realizing that without this girl's quick thinking, her children could have faced real danger. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You saved them." And Aisha felt a warmth she had never known, a feeling of pride and belonging that made her chest swell. Mr. Khan's stern expression softened, replaced by a thoughtful gaze. He realized that bravery did not come from wealth or privilege, but from heart and action. Here was a girl who had nothing in material terms, yet she had acted with more courage and intelligence than anyone in his household. He nodded slowly, a silent acknowledgement that her actions had earned his respect. The twins hugged Aisha tightly, and for a moment, everyone stood together in quiet understanding. The caretaker offered blankets and warm tea, and Aisha accepted, finally allowing herself to rest after the long, tense night. Mr. Khan watched her carefully, considering what this night had revealed. He knew that this girl's life was nothing like his own, yet she had handled the situation with responsibility and bravery that could not be ignored. Something in him shifted, a desire to give her a chance, to recognize her courage, and to change the course of her life forever. As the mansion security team arrived to escort the twins safely home, Mr. Khan lingered for a moment, looking at Aisha, and spoke softly. "You have done something remarkable tonight. Not everyone could have done what you did." The word surprised her. She had never heard praise like this before, especially from someone so important. A spark of hope lit inside her, a feeling she had long forgotten, a chance at something bigger than survival. And as the twins waved goodbye, smiling with newfound relief, Aisha realized that her life was about to change. She had acted with kindness and courage without expecting anything in return, yet fate had noticed, and the first door to a new beginning had opened. The night, which had started with fear and uncertainty, now ended with promise. And for the first time, Aisha believed that her choices could shape a brighter future. The next morning, Aisha awoke to a world that felt strangely different. The city streets she had known so well suddenly seemed smaller, quieter, and less intimidating. She was no longer alone, for she now had a connection to people who had once seemed unreachable. Her mind replayed the events of the night, the trust of the twins, the relief in their parents' eyes, and the warmth she had felt when her courage had been acknowledged. Aisha realized that her life had taken a turn she could never have imagined. Mr. Khan had offered her a chance, a small but powerful opportunity to work with his family, helping care for the twins and assisting in their education. At first, Aisha had hesitated, unsure if she belonged in a world so different from her own. She had survived in the streets by relying on quick thinking and resilience, but the mansion, with its polished floors, endless rooms, and staff, felt overwhelming. Yet, she also felt a spark of excitement, the chance to learn, to grow, and to finally imagine a life beyond survival. The twins, Ayan and Alina, greeted her with bright smiles, their trust in her unwavering. They held her hands and guided her through the sprawling mansion, showing her their rooms, their toys, and even their favorite reading spots. Aisha listened, laughed, and marveled. Realizing that kindness had built a bridge between two very different worlds, she had never seen such wealth. Yet it was not the luxury that impressed her. It was the love and care hidden behind the grandeur. The first days were challenging, as Aisha had to adjust to rules, schedules, and expectations that were completely new to her. She learned to wake early for lessons, to follow instruction from the staff, and address appropriately small details that she had never considered important on the streets. At times, she stumbled, frustrated by her lack of knowledge. But she never gave up. The determination that had kept her alive on the streets now guided her through this new environment. Mrs. Khan noticed her effort, and instead of criticism, she offered guidance, patient and encouraging, helping Aisha understand the mansion's routines and the children's needs. She taught Aisha how to manage small tasks, organize study time for the twins, and even basic etiquette. The lessons were sometimes hard, but each success built Aisha's confidence. And for the first time, she felt that she could belong in this world without losing herself. The twins were her constant motivation, their laughter and curiosity reminding her why she had chosen to help them in the first place. She saw how her actions had changed their fear into trust, their tears into smiles, and it filled her with pride. Every day, she learned something new, from reading simple words aloud to understanding the value of patience. Her mind, sharpened by years of street survival, adapted quickly, and soon she was managing tasks with care and skill, earning the admiration of the household staff. Aisha also noticed subtle changes within herself. She was no longer only surviving. She was growing, dreaming, and believing in possibilities. The fear that had always accompanied her in the streets was slowly replaced by courage in a different way, not the desperate courage of survival, but the confident courage of someone shaping her own destiny. Even the smallest successes, organizing the twins' books, helping with meals, or earning a kind word from Mrs. Khan, felt like victories. At night, when the mansion was quiet and the twins asleep, Aisha often reflected on her journey, from a street girl navigating danger to someone entrusted with the care of children from wealth and privilege. Her life had transformed in ways she had never imagined. She realized that courage, empathy, and selflessness could open doors that seemed impossible, and that one act of kindness could ripple into a future filled with hope. And as she drifted to sleep under the quiet glow of the mansion lights, Aisha knew that her journey had only just begun. The challenges ahead would test her, but they would also shape her into someone stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace a life she had never dared to dream of. This was more than a chance. It was a beginning, a promise that her actions could continue to change not only her life but the lives of those she cared for. Life in a mansion was not as easy as Aisha had first imagined. Each day brought new challenges, small and large, that tested her patience, her confidence, and sometimes even her courage. The rules of the household were strict, the schedule demanding, and the expectations of both the children and the staff weighed heavily on her. Yet Aisha did not falter. She had faced harsher struggles in the streets, and now she approached each task with determination and care. The twins, Ayan and Alina, were both a source of joy and a reminder of responsibility. They tested her patience with mischievous antics, playful arguments, and endless questions. Yet every smile and every laugh they shared with her reinforced her purpose. Aisha realized that helping them was not just about keeping them safe. It was about guiding them, teaching them, and learning from them in return. Each day, she discovered new ways to nurture their curiosity while keeping them out of trouble. At first, some of the staff were skeptical, whispering behind her back about the street girl trying to fit into the mansion. Aisha heard some of their murmurs, but she ignored them, choosing instead to prove herself through action rather than words. She learned quickly, observing the staff, asking questions, and experimenting with small solutions, slowly earning respect through her diligence and resourcefulness. Her practical street sense often helped solve problems that others could not, surprising even the most critical staff members. There were moments when Aisha felt out of place, walking past grand rooms she had only dreamed of, seeing the expensive furniture and priceless artworks, and realizing she could never forget the street she had come from. At night, she sometimes worried that this world was too different, that she might never fully belong. But each time she looked at the twins sleeping peacefully, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She understood that belonging was not about wealth or status. It was about trust, care, and courage. One afternoon, the twins had a small disagreement over a toy. Ayan refused to share, and Alina's tears flowed freely. Aisha stepped in, her calm voice guiding them. Teaching patience and understanding, she suggested taking turns, explaining how kindness could bring more joy than conflict. Slowly, the twins nodded, learning from her example. And in that simple moment, Aisha saw the impact of her guidance. Realizing that her influence extended beyond protection, it was shaping their character. The mansion also offered her opportunities she had never dreamed of. She was taught to read more fluently, to write properly, and to understand things she had never had access to on the streets. Each lesson expanded her mind, opening doors she had only glimpsed in dreams. She discovered that learning could be fun, empowering, and transformative, and with every small success, her confidence grew, reinforcing the idea that courage and curiosity could carry her far. Yet life was not without struggle. Aisha occasionally missed the street she had called home, the familiar chaos, the freedom to make her own decisions. She realized that adapting to a new world required compromise and patience. Yet she also knew that this world offered her possibilities far beyond survival. It was a delicate balance between remembering who she was and embracing who she could become. Through it all, the bond between Aisha and the twins strengthened. They trusted her completely, ran to her for comfort, and shared their joys and fears without hesitation. She had become more than a caretaker. She was a mentor, a friend, and a guide. And in return, she received something priceless: love, trust, and belonging. Each day reinforced her belief that one person, no matter how small or humble, could make a profound difference in the lives of others. And as night fell over the mansion, Aisha watched the city lights flicker in the distance, a reminder of the streets she had come from. She felt a sense of pride, knowing that she had faced her challenges and grown stronger, wiser, and more capable. The journey had been difficult, but it had also been beautiful, showing her that courage, resilience, and love could bridge worlds, and that one small act of kindness could truly transform the lives of many. Months had passed since that rainy night when Aisha had first found the crying twins in the park. Her life had changed in ways she had never imagined. She no longer wandered the streets looking for food or shelter. Instead, she moved confidently through the halls of the mansion, her head held high, her heart full of purpose. The twins, Ayan and Alina, had grown even closer to her. Their laughter filled the mansion with warmth, and their eyes sparkled whenever they saw her. They had come to rely on her guidance, her patience, and her unwavering kindness. Aisha had become a part of their world, and in turn, they had become a part of hers. Aisha had also grown in ways she could not have foreseen. She had learned to read and write fluently, studied new subjects, and discovered talents she had never known existed. Her confidence soared, and she no longer doubted her place in the world. The skills she had developed on the streets, quick thinking, courage, and resourcefulness, combined with the lessons from the mansion, creating a young woman capable of shaping her own destiny. The Khan family had come to respect and admire her deeply. Mr. Khan often watched her with quiet pride, noting how she managed challenges with intelligence and care. Mrs. Khan had become a mentor and guide, offering advice and encouragement at every step. The staff, once skeptical, now regarded her as an equal, appreciating her dedication and the love she showed the twins. Aisha's journey had earned her a place not just in the household, but in their hearts. One afternoon, the twins surprised her with handmade cards, filled with drawings and notes expressing their gratitude. Aisha's eyes filled with tears as she realized the true depth of her impact. She had not only protected them, but had also nurtured their hearts, taught them empathy, and given them joy, the realization was overwhelming, a quiet pride swelling in her chest. Despite the comfort and security of her new life, Aisha never forgot the streets, the lessons they had taught her, and the struggles that had shaped her. She remembered hunger, fear, and loneliness, and she knew that those experiences had made her strong, resilient, and compassionate. They were a part of her story, a reminder that courage and kindness could come from anywhere, and that anyone, no matter how small, could change the world. As the sun set over the city, Aisha stood on the balcony. Watching the lights flicker across the streets she had once walked, she felt gratitude for her journey. Knowing that her choices had led her to this life, she had taken a chance, acted with courage, and embraced kindness. And in return, the world had opened its doors to her. Ayan and Alina joined her, holding her hands and smiling. "We're glad you found us," Alina whispered. "We're glad you stayed." Aisha hugged them tightly, feeling a profound sense of belonging and love. She had started as a small, lonely girl in the streets, but now she was a protector, a guide, and a cherished member of a family. Her life had been transformed, and she knew that the choices she made, the courage she had shown, and the kindness she had offered had made all the difference. And in that quiet moment, with the city alive below and the mansion warm behind her, Aisha realized that life was not just about surviving or existing. It was about taking bold steps, caring for others, and embracing opportunities when they appeared. Her story was proof that one act of bravery, one decision to help, could ripple through the lives of many, creating hope, love, and change that would last forever. From the streets to the mansion, from fear to courage, and from solitude to belonging, Aisha's journey had reached a new horizon. She knew challenges would still come, but she was ready, strong, and unafraid. For the first time, she understood that the life she had once only dreamed of was real, and that her future was filled with endless possibilities, and that the girl who had walked the streets alone had now found her place in the world.